Hello again today, everybody. Doing all of my interviews, trying to get recruiting information out, letting schools and organizations do some plugs and some philosophies and strategies on how they do stuff. And very happy and excited to have one of my good friends that I've just met, great baseball guy, Tim Jones, who's the regional director of Rawlings Tigers Pittsburgh. Actually got me to come out of retirement and get involved, in which I'm happy to do, and very excited about this whole Rawlings program. And how we're going to do things. I'm actually doing the 18U Elite High School Showcase team, but it was just told by Tim about a week ago that him and I are going to head to lovely Fort Myers, Florida. And as I look out my window today and see all this snow coming down, and Tim's had a good story before we got going here of a canopy that is going to be taken down in the snow at his house. We'll be happy to get there in January with our first 15U national team that will be playing in perfect game down in Fort Myers. So I'm going to introduce now Tim Jones and let him talk about the background and the Rawlings Tigers Pittsburgh baseball program that we're trying to get going and make one of the top programs in the nation. Timmy, how are you?
Tim, doing well. Doing well. I'm excited for Florida too. This snow's driving me nuts. I'm ready to get out of here.
I hear you. So, hey, give us all a little bit of background, your background, and then just a little bit on how you got into the Rawlings organization and where you're looking to take things in the Pittsburgh area.
Absolutely. I basically am your diamond rat, if you will. I'm the guy that's been raised on a baseball field and I've never left. I can't do it. It's not in my blood, right? My whole family is a baseball family, and it's been crazy to say the least. And growing up playing, travel ball was not part of life back then. It was American Legion, and then you went off to college if you got the chance to do it. I had some opportunities, got hurt, found myself going to CCAC and transferring into Cal U and walking on and doing everything I could to keep going. And I started coaching after I got hurt, got into it more so after I coached my own team that I played for and had my kidney transplant. And that was kind of my first taste. I helped my dad coach younger kids and started coaching everything under the sun, from soccer to being a grad assistant at Cal U for football, and you name it. I've learned under Walt Harris. I've learned under John Lockhart, some really good guys. I got friends in the NFL. I got guys that played over in Europe and the European NBA leagues that they got there. And I got baseball guys that are coaching college now, and they're out there doing their thing, and they love what they do, and we stay in contact. Baseball's a brotherhood, right? So my background, I was a catcher, third baseman, pretty much all my life, spot pitching here and there. So I can play anywhere on the field. I made some good plays out in the outfield when I was called upon, but I always put all my effort out there as much as possible. And that's literally how I lead my life, right? I do that for my players. I do that for my organization. And I've been around a long time coaching, and I've coached at the rec levels. I've coached at the high school levels. I've been to big high schools, and I've been to small high schools. I've seen the politics that go on and the craziness where you're kind of handcuffed what you can do, and literally became a surgeon to resuscitate another program at a smaller high school. And so far it's been going great. Didn't have a season last year and no idea if we will this year, but it is what it is, right? Teaching kids, it gave me the opportunity to really teach. And I'm the type of coach where I feel 100% where no matter where you go, you always have to continue learning. The day you stop learning is the day you hang up your whistle. That's when you kind of move on and give it to the next guy. And being part of different organizations and coaching in different organizations, for me personally as a coach and a lover of the game, morally and ethically, it just didn't stand. I couldn't do it. I started looking from the outside in. I started seeing some of the nuances that took place. And, a lot of what happened with AAU basketball, where it got really big and exploded, and then the kids that were on the team, it was basically if you had money to play, you were put on a team with one or two guys that were going D1 hands down, and you would just give them the ball. They never knew any fundamentals whatsoever. They didn't know the game. And it just kind of got depressing, to say the least. And then I started to see that with baseball. You know, I've watched kids play baseball at the high school level, and they're making routine mistakes. And it's like, you don't know where to go on the field. Pitchers don't leave the mound. They don't recall what a hitter did their last at bat, or there's no mentality in there of, this kid can't catch up to your fastball. Why are you throwing a changeup on an 0-2 pitch? You know, things like that the kids just don't know the intricacies of the game, and they're all afraid to play small ball when they need to. You know, smack a team in the mouth that's really talented, because chances are they don't know the fundamentals and they're going to implode. And things like that. And then I started seeing just dollar signs. Kids were dollar signs. If directors would smash you in like a sardine, and you would have 45 kids in there taking hacks for a half an hour, 45 minutes, there's no intent. You're literally going in just to swing. So you're not improving. You're not getting better. You're just swinging a bat. There's no difference than you going to your garage in the middle of the winter time and just taking hacks just to take a hack. You know, what are you doing? What are you working on? Same thing with fielding. You know, it'd be 40 kids in one indoor space, and you'd have 45 minutes to work, and parents would have to pick and choose. And they sell you this massive allure of, yeah, it's $2,500, it's $3,000, it's $3,500. And if you actually want to get better, oh, it's $500 for this. You have to do a pitching lesson with this guy. You have to do this hitting clinic. You have to do it this way. You have to do it this way. And there's a lot of guys that have no credibility, that they just have money, and they get in at the right time, and now it's all about money. You know, I know guys now that will smash 15 kids on a roster at 13, 14 years old. They're playing 2 innings, 3 innings a weekend, and they're paying the same amount, and then they're jumping ship, and they're getting frustrated. They're getting mad. And then you got, you know, rec ball is changing the rules left and right, and it's detrimental to the game. There's some really great organizations that started to do some travel rec to make it better and teach the kids the game. And I do my best to lend a hand to help those guys out and do everything under the sun. And what I've gotten to now is, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, you know, pay me to be on this team. You know, I'll take 15 kids because I don't want that other organization to get that kid on his team, because I'm just trying to block him. Well, what are you doing? You're not helping that kid at all. You're not helping that family at all. All you're doing is taking their money, and you're hurting the game because of your own greed is what it comes down to. I know myself, I've had chances where, you know, 13 years a rough age, because you got junior high ball, middle school ball, but you might have 4 kids on the team that don't, and you have no time to practice, and you can't work with them. And then it's like, bam, here's your season. Go out there and do what you do. Well, we haven't been on a field yet. We haven't even practiced yet. We haven't thrown. You know, my kids are playing junior high ball, and then these kids haven't done anything for 3 months. So what am I supposed to do? And you have the opportunity to get a field and just get some extra work in, so that way you're prepared to go on the field, and you get threatened to be fired because the director didn't make his money. He didn't get paid by those parents, and they try and control you, and as if they invented the game of baseball. And you can look at YouTube all day and find a million different things out there, and there's gurus that will teach you so many things under the sun. And there's some people that charge a lot of money, and they will literally get you in because of their status, so to speak, where, yeah, sure, my kid went to the pros, but I don't know what I'm talking about, and I've been thrown out of major league stadiums left and right. I'm going to charge you $100 for a lesson, and I'm going to destroy your kid because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I sit there and I scratch my head, and I don't talk bad about other people. I don't call names. I don't do anything like that. I let you discover it for yourself, because once you work with me, you understand the game. You understand what I'm doing. And I ask a million times, does that make sense? And it's active learning. And when kids work with me, they get a foundation. They start to build it. So I got tired of it. You know, I literally was like, I've had enough. This is revolting. It's killing the game of baseball. By some sheer dumb luck, I stumbled upon the Tigers, and I was like, this is exactly what Pittsburgh needs. You know, a lot of people talk north and south. The south has all the baseball. They can play in January. I lived in the south. I've seen it myself. I know. They got powerhouse schools. They have powerhouse teams. There's a big knock on the Big Ten. Pitt's in the ACC, so they need to recruit heavily to play teams down in the south as well. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of coaches. And I found that there's this mix of kids don't know the game. Parents have no idea what goes into recruiting because none of these organizations actually help them. Next level college athlete is like, that's the only thing they do. And then here you go, here's your information, go figure it out. Well, we teach you. So my goal and what I decided to do, and it's crazy to me how we've gotten here, but it speaks to the testament of our mission. It speaks to my character and how I operate and what I like to do. You know, these organizations are transactional, right? There's no relationship in there. There's no director that knows all the kids in their organization. They don't even care to work with the kids in the organization. It's just, hey, here's a coach, go do it, and you're done, right? They play the same teams every weekend. They save money. They cut corners on playing terrible tournaments all the time, or cheap tournaments, if you will, so they can pad their pockets as much as possible. And if whoever they beat, that's how they puff their chest up and say, hey, I won. That's not how baseball works. That's not how it's supposed to work. You know, people are kind of fed up. So my philosophy is relationship based. We strongly feel that you have to have the right coach at the right time with the right team, right? It makes a world of difference. We all know that. You go to a doctor, you don't agree with that, whatever he says, you hurt your knee. Okay, well, let me get a second opinion. We do that hands down every single day, right? So how many times, why don't kids do that when it comes to hitting or pitching or playing in an organization? It's just, well, his friends are there. Okay, well, do your friends go to the college that you want to go to? No. Are you capable of doing things on your own? Are you accountable? And I've seen it myself where kids will jump ship every single time because their dad thinks that they should play shortstop and they're 6'4" and they hit the baseball a mile, but they're by far the best first baseman out there. Or your kid was a second baseman growing up, and in Little League, all the action's in the infield. Well, he's also runs like a deer. He can track a fly ball night and day with his eyes closed and make the throws that he needs to. Well, I transition him to the outfield because that's where he's going to excel. And lo and behold, the kid leaves because no, mom and dad want him to be an infielder, and that's it. And a lot of times it's a detractor. It hurts the kid, right? So what we do, we're completely bucking the trend of travel baseball. You know, at the youth ages, it has to be affordable, right? You have to be able to afford it, and you have to be able to learn. You have to know how to learn the game and get better and smarter. And we also teach our coaches with that, right? You know, we build in clinics for our players. We build in lessons for our players. We do it the right way where they learn everything under the sun. And with our VIP, you have over 100 videos for drills for every single position. You have mental labs. You have podcasts. You have Tiger TV. We are sponsored by Rawlings, so we have a national brand. So we have teams all across the country, and we compete with players across the country. We have a partnership with Blast Motion, which is an amazing hitting tool that we give to all of our players. You know, some kids don't do this until they're 13, 14. Why don't we teach them younger so that way they know where they're at by the time they get to junior high, so they're making their teams. You know, we want to teach them the game. Our goal is to make them better, faster, stronger, and better ball players and better men, no matter what. You know, we have a culture where we want to do it where everything's included. You know, with our high school program, I say this all the time, and, you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong or give me your thoughts on it, where I build it out. You know, you've been part of this for a short time now. You see what I'm doing. I don't think there's another program out there that does what we do, where my kids are loaded. You know, they got strength and conditioning with an actual CSCS, which is who will train you in college. We run it like a college level program. You have workouts. You know, we're booked with 6 weeks of strength and conditioning. I don't do that. That's not my cup of tea. I'm not a CSCS. I have my certification, but I hand it off to guys that know what they're doing because that's what they do. So we have a relationship with them. We have indoor workouts for those guys. We're doing arm care now. We have velocity training coming up with Coach Page, who played at Seneca Valley, local guy, went to Liberty, played for the Blue Jays. He has wisdom and knowledge that he shares. You know, he's in his late 30s. He's been doing this a long time. And kids are blown away. Parents are blown away with the information because we teach them first. So they understand the process, and then they improve as we continue to work with them. You know, we put in amazing tournaments for these guys. All our parents are like, wow, we're playing some big time tournaments. We're playing top-notch teams. I'm like, yeah, we might get smacked a little bit in our first year because it takes time to build a program, but we're going to go out there, we're going to compete, we're going to show you what it's like. We spend a lot of money on our tournaments because we want our kids to play good tournaments. We're not playing it in off season every weekend in our backyard like a lot of these other programs do. We're playing in a lot of $1,000+ tournaments, and we're playing some showcase events for the high school team. We practice twice a week. We do scrimmages. There's a lot that goes into it. Uniforms are included in there. You get 2 full uniforms from Rawlings. You get a helmet and a bag. You look the part. You have everything under the sun. We built it out so that way we run it like a college level program, and you know what to expect when you get to the next level. We also build in teaching our parents as young as 13 with profiles. Every player gets a profile that we set up for them. All they got to do is add to it, right? College coaches look at our profiles all the time. They follow us on Twitter. They see our kids. They have the opportunity to start getting offers without ever playing in a big time event by the time they're 16, because smaller colleges want to go there. We evaluate players. We do a lot of that with them, and we give them brutal, honest opinions. You're a 2-2 right now in high school, general studies. You have a D1 bat, and you're a great player overall, but you want to go to college for general studies. So they're looking at things as like, well, I'm failing this now at home, and this college is 12 hours away. What's going to happen there? No, you should probably go to JUCO because that's your best fit. You're going to get an opportunity to go D1 from that JUCO school, but they're going to take care of you, and they're going to spend more time with you. Where you don't make the grade up here, guess what? You're out. So we're brutally honest with a lot of people. We grade our parents as much as we grade our kids. We want good families because we know kids come from good families. If you have an attitude, you mouth off, you cuss out another player, you're slamming equipment, you get one warning. If you do it again, you're out. I don't care. You're not ready for this. It's not for you, and I'll gladly pass on an incredibly talented player that might go to the pros, but he's going to have a tough road getting there himself because he doesn't have it up here yet, right? So our goal is we want to buck the trend. We want to be the upper echelon of baseball here. We're cheaper than a lot of other programs, and it's because I don't take massive cuts like these guys do. I work tirelessly with everything under the sun. I run winter practices from 9U through 18U with my coaches. I teach them. We build this culture where we want our kids to move up every year that they go through the program, and we'll continue to build, and we're going to do affiliate programs so they understand the right way how baseball is supposed to be done, and they know the game. We break it down for them. We do a hell of a lot of teaching. That way, after having conversations with college coaches, like, what do you see most of, and some of the big things that college coaches tell me now, which is absurd to me, to be honest, is they'll ask kids what their approach is. And they're like, oh, I'm going to go hit the ball hard. Well, that's not an approach. That's a goal. But what's your approach? Have you viewed the pitcher? Do you know his arm slot? Do you know the difference between his curveball and his fastball? Do you know the placement of where the umpire's calling strikes? What are they giving you in the field? Do you have the ability to hit to all parts of the field if necessary? Are you willing to put a bunt down, even though you're our 4 guy, because we have to play small ball to advance this runner to win a game? We have to play that mental side of the baseball game as well. And can you handle adversity? Can you handle losing? A lot of kids can't handle adversity because mom and dad won't let them. We do that. The other issue is I've had college coaches literally tell me mom and dad no longer want a guarantee. They want a guarantee of, well, how much playing time is my kid going to get? Where's he going to bat in the lineup? If you have the audacity to ask a college coach that, guess what? You're not going to college to play baseball. This isn't Little League. You call that guy one time, he's going to say, hey, your kid's ready to go. Why don't you pick his bags up in his dorm room? He's done. And that's the bottom line. So we want to educate these parents as much as our players, and we want to make it to the point where it's like, wow, we're doing a good thing the first year. Second year, we build, we grow. Third year, now it's on. Now we're here. Fourth year, it's even better. We want to be nationally ranked. We're doing national showcase events for 14 to 17U with, like, this one coming up, 5 cities. 5 cities are represented in this. No one else has that. And we're doing it cheaper than everyone else. And we built more into this program than anyone else. And we have great guys that have tons of knowledge. We got young college guys that are learning how to coach now. Put them with the team so they get some experience. We can mold them the right way instead of just sending them off to the world and then they get eaten alive by another director that dictates how they do everything. You can watch any other program out there. You watch a kid hit, I can tell you exactly what team he plays for. You watch a kid throw, I can tell you what organization he plays for. It's just crazy how they try and mold you into what you should be, and they're gurus. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. And this is not baseball. You got to have that happy medium between old school and new school. And we do a lot of data. We do a lot of things with pocket radar, with blast motion. We challenge our kids. So we're new. People are learning about us still. They have this craze with the national name. And then once they start to get to know us and what we offer, people are blown away because they don't expect it. They don't expect me to be easily accessible. They don't expect me to be at their games or their practices or to run lessons for them. And once they learn it, they're like, we've never learned this before. We've never had this opportunity to learn it. I bring my coaches in to learn from me as well, because they have to be able to carry that on as well. So we're very particular with who we bring on, and everything's a relationship. I'm not going to say I'm the greatest guy in the world. Having 10 teams in the first year and getting a couple affiliates during COVID is mind blowing, but it's just a testament to, this is what we want to do. This is a change that is necessary in this area. And how much work I put in, no matter what director you are, it's always underappreciated and undervalued, because people just don't know. People are starting to see that with what they've gotten so far, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg. It's amazing.
That's fantastic. Great, a lot of great information, and I'll go to me. I mean, I have played professionally. I've coached in college. Coached in high school around here, elite teams and everything. And it was funny. I, was at Mars and finished up with Mars, up there with Coach Bednar, and, was out with my grandson. I now have a grandson. It's like, oh, maybe it's time. And, then you and I started talking, and, hey, boy, I like what Tim wants to do with all this. And, you're like, hey, Tom, come coach and all that, we'd love to have you with everything. The thing that I really like, and I think that sets apart, is so many youth programs. And what I do now, I mean, I'm a national recruiter for kids in all sports, but I do tons of baseball kids and everything. I'm actually, doing these series of information sharing and all that with college coaches and different sports, different levels, and definitely wanted to get you in. But what sets Rawlings apart is I see so many times these 8 to 12-year-old teams, and the whole emphasis is to get them, going out across the country and all that. That's not what that age group is about. Okay. Play in your local tournaments, good teams, good tournaments. But the whole thing is develop your players. I mean, it's like we want to go out and get all these good players, throw out a ball, and just let them play. And that's going about it wrong. We're looking at it as, we get these young kids, we bring them up through, we develop them at this young age. Then they move into the 13, 14, 15, and 17U teams and all that. And you know what? They have the basic fundamentals. They know the things that we're talking about, that they know how to be part of a team. And I mean, that was my big selling point. Is like, I was like, Tim, I want to sit there and take these high school teams and make them one of the best top 10 programs in the nation. It's not about being number one and all that. It's about getting up there. Because if you're one of those programs and you're doing it our way, kids that play for us are going to be kids that college coaches love. Interesting thing, and talking to all these coaches, I mean, a lot of them that I've been talking to, and they will tell you, I mean, they cover so much on fundamentals. Fundamentally sound is something that all of them talk about. Great character. I don't want this hot-headed kid, or these parents that aren't going to be a fit for the program. And you know as well as I do, when you get to college, it's totally different. I tell my kids that all the time, like, you know what, you guys cannot walk into a coach's office and say, well, you know what, hey, let's sit down and do this, let's sit down and do that. they're going to say, okay, there's the door. Don't let it hit you. Well, make sure you grab your kid on the way up. That's a lot of the way that it's done. And I'm so impressed with everything that, we've talked about and we're trying to do. I know COVID's tough, especially in our neck of the woods right now. My wifey came down with symptoms, and we've been in quarantine, and it's just nuts. And with the whole recruiting aspect and having kids all over the place like I do, trying to keep them informed and work with college coaches and the different rules. And now seniors are coming back and extra year eligibility. It's a crazy time. But you know, talk a little bit about Rawlings and about, what we talk about as far as developing the younger kids, the
Sure.
younger team kids, and what we try to do there. It's like, slow it down, teach them the correct ways. Don't your analogy was very good. Kids taking swings and I don't know how many times on social media I'll see somebody, here's my kid's swing. Anybody that wants to sit there and talk about it, and then you get 100 people on there and they're like, Coach, I didn't see you on there. I'm like, when you want a great evaluation, hey, DM me. Let's talk about everything. Let's set up a plan to, it's like you said, approach. And I'm gonna share just a quick story here at the baseball coaches clinic. One of my good friends, he's a minor league hitting instructor for the Cardinals, and his presentation that day was about approach to hitting. And one of the first things that he said, and this actually blew people's minds, but I was like, you're exactly right. Because I talk about it in hitting all the time. He said, 85% of our kids that come in and all that, first question I asked them, okay, guys, what's your approach to hitting? And, he said, you see their faces go blank. Guys that are drafted and everything, and it's like you said, swing hard. No, your approach is, I will show a guy or talk about a guy, JD Martinez of the Red Sox. I think he has one of the best approaches, or a Miguel Cabrera, who's exactly like him. And you know what? Those first two swings, yeah, they're looking to do damage, but they are doing damage that's data driven. They've watched all. They know what the guy on the mound is trying to do to them and everything else. And then you get the two strikes. You know what? Hey, guys on base, I got to be a run producer. I got to put the ball in play. I got to go. I got to cut down on my swing, stay back, go the other way, and everything like that. Trying to sit there and get this involved, you have to get it in with the younger kids. So back to you again. Talk about the Rawlings way and developing our younger teams and younger kids.
Sure. So, kind of kicking off with how we do it, what draws people in, what makes them want to be part of the Tigers is, we don't set down, like we don't make them do anything under the sun. We take on the development side. I take on all the admin side. I let the coaches dictate how much practice time they want to do. I let them dictate, indoor, outdoor. They get to pick their tournaments. We give them discounts that we have and everything else. I run the development side, right? That's why we built in clinics and lessons for them. And most of our hitting clinics, we do it during practice time so the coaches are there. They can work with us to understand the philosophies. We offer A+ coaching. This is just an added benefit. And, sometimes it's tough. You got coaches that have played, they know the game. They don't always cover some of those bigger aspects, And what we teach kids is, I see kids all the time, like launch angle is the greatest thing in the world, and no one understands that you have to teach attack angle because your launch angle is a result, and then you have a guy who played in the minor leagues and batted 126, and he's telling you, no, you have to lift up. Sure, if you're 6'5" and play first base and you're getting drafted to hit home runs, yeah, that's acceptable. But your kid's 9 years old, just learning how to hold a bat. Come on, let's get real here. And we break it down, and the way that we do it is, as an individual for the player, but also as the team foundation. Is everything is a foundation with building blocks, stepping stones, right? So we give them that stepping stone, and we start to teach them the game of baseball. We give them drills. We teach them how to properly field a baseball. We teach them how to play every position under the sun so they know how to play. We don't pigeonhole kids like a lot of other programs do. Oh, I got the top shortstop at 11U. Seriously, he's 11 years old. Come on. He's not top shortstop in the state, and he might not even play shortstop or even baseball by the time he's 15. Let's get serious here. I see a lot of guys that teach kids, they don't finish their swing. They finish chest open to the pitcher. They open their shoulders up, and they have no idea. They can't hit a low pitch because their back legs extended. There's a lot of squash the bug guys, and I'm not that guy. There's a lot of ground force reaction guys out there that I understand the human body a lot more than anybody else, because not everybody else, but having a master's in it, I use the body because we have to use the body to generate power. I relate to kids on different levels. I can have 3 kids I'm working with at the same time, and all 3 of them can take my terminology different ways. So now I have to do active learning and have them explain it to me in their own terms so I can connect with them. If I can't connect with them, that whole lesson is a waste. I can't teach them anything, right? So we want to teach them the foundation. Like, let's not crowd the plate like crazy. Why are kids so afraid of outside pitches? And do they lunge at it all the time instead of attacking it? What's the proper motion to attack the baseball? And, one of the biggest compliments that I get when I teach hitting to all my players at the younger level is the key term. This is every parent unanimously. And it kind of becomes my goal now because it makes sense. And I never thought of it until people said it, is it just looks smooth. It looks smooth. Okay. So basically beforehand, they never really were taught how to do things the right way, like hitting, they're rough around the edges. They're dropping their hands. They're leaning way back. Their weight distribution is way off. No one's ever had the opportunity to break it down and explain it to them. So when I do lessons with them, the first one is me evaluating their swing. And then I'm making notes because I will create a plan based on that individual player. That's all I care about at that time. And I'm going to teach them the first 2 lessons, and then we're going to get to work. And parents are starting to really digest that and love it because now they understand it and their kids understand it with their own terms. I give them homework every time with what they need to do. I can tell you point blank within the first 10 minutes of just their warm-up swings if they actually did the work or not. And I'll ask them, what was your homework? What did you work on? Because I'm holding them accountable at 9, 10, 11, and 12 for their own development. And parents have this insane thought that, great, I'm going to go get lessons and now my kid's magically going to get better. And I tell them point blank, no, we're going to do an assessment first, and we have to make sure it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit for me, I'll put you with another coach. Kind of going back to that doctor theory again. Has to be a good fit for both of us, but you have to understand I'm giving you the foundation. I'm not here to make you a better ball player overnight. You have to put the work in. I'm just giving you the tools now that you can continue to work with at home, and it's up to you. If you're continuing to work at home, you're going to see improvement. You're going to get better. And I get them to understand the rise and fall where you're going to get a little bit worse because it feels different. It's new. And then once you start to work through it, it becomes effortless. So now, once we get to the point as we're building them and growing them up through the program, whether it's pitching, teach them how to throw with their bodies. Ryan uses an awesome term. How do you tell me how you pitch a baseball without using the term drive, push, anything like that? And they're like, I can't. Where's your weight go? And then they kind of freeze because they have no idea. Or how many times do your coach say, like, you're dropping your hands, or, hey, bend, get a push off the mound, do this. And then all of a sudden you come back and you throw a rocket past the batter, and they're like, that's what I'm talking about. Does that coach really know what he's talking about? Chances are no. And neither do you, and you just happen to throw a good pitch that time. Well, what's the difference? Understanding. Understanding is the difference. So we have to set that tone and that foundation of, this is why we do this, and this is how we get to the next level. And if you put this work in and you follow these drills, and that's why we use blast motion, where there's a lot of data behind it. That is the new game of baseball. And now we can understand it. So the eye test is obviously the biggest aspect. Well, now you have data backing up what you're saying, and parents have real-time feedback. And no one else does this. No one else offers blast motion to their players, because now it helps the parents understand. And now there's videos on there that we use to improve, and now they're starting to understand. And when we teach the parents as much as the kids, now their kids want to work. Now they're working together with mom or dad. It builds a better relationship. Now they're coming in. They're excited to come in and work with us. They're excited to be part of this. They're excited to continue to grow. And now our goal is, as they get older and into those high school realms, it gets to the point where instead of me teaching so much and breaking things down and doing drills to go back to our foundation, because now we have, ups and downs. We have droughts in baseball where, we're not hitting the ball at all, or whatever the case is. Now they're getting better, and we get to the point where it's, all right, what'd you do? Fix it and show me. And then now they're able to start coaching themselves, because we've instilled that wisdom into them over a couple of years now, that now they know what they need to do, and they have the ability to fix it on the fly. It's going to make them a million times better than their competitors, their teammates, and everything else. And now they're making their teammates better. We teach them other aspects where parents love batting average. I go ask any college coach under the sun, tell them what your batting average was when you were 12 or 13. Like, yeah, in a sense, some batting average does matter. It does show some things there, but what do you do with your at-bats matters even more. And a lot of times our parents will ask, how'd you do today? Did you win or lose? And that's the first question. And then you have the other question of, well, what'd you do at the plate? Oh, I went 0 for 4. Oh, that's terrible. We have to go throw 100 pitches and swing now. Well, guess what? That kid went 0 for 4 and drove in 5 runs. So he was the best hitter at the plate for the team that entire day. And we start to instill with them at a young age on every level: catching, the foundations, the fundamentals, how to do it, fielding, pitching, how to be a teammate. You can't be a good teammate on the field if you can't be a good teammate on the bench. You can't be a good teammate if you're not willing to take the role for that specific game. You might be the pinch runner that game, and that's it. And that's how we do it. We don't overthrow arms. We teach them how to do it. A lot of coaches just count pitches in a game. They don't count in between inning pitches. They don't count bullpen warm-ups. They don't count anything else. So your 85 pitches is actually 150, 160. Maybe that's why your kid's arm's tired and you left him in there 2 innings too long and you gave up 5 runs. Let's start learning about kids as far as where to be on the field every play, one pitch mentality, slow the game down so they understand. And we start to build that as a whole. We build it as a team, as the culture. Your job isn't to go out there and be the best player. Your job is to go out there and be the best teammate, because that means you're going to leave it all out on the field. You might have a terrible day at the plate, but your best career game ever in the field, or vice versa. And by being the best teammate, you're going to give your all to your teammates, but then you're also going to pick them up whenever they need it. And if you could be that teammate without slamming equipment, without jumping up and down because you don't like the call, there's no such thing as a strike zone. There's an umpire zone, and it changes all the time. Every tournament, it is what it is. And you have to go out there and do it. It's not about winning and losing. Can you win? Yeah. Can you learn when you win? Yeah. But can you lose? How do you lose? What do you learn when you lose? Do you want to play that team that you're going to lose 9 out of 10 games because they're the best of the best? Or do you want to go out there and play a 3.5 inning game and win 20-0? No, you want to go out there and you want to play a full game, lose 9 out of 10 times because that's the best competition, because you're going to get better every single time. That's the bottom line. And if we build this foundation with our A+ coaching for our coaches, giving them full control on how to run the team, and I do all the development for them, and I teach them, develop the coaches as much as the players, it's only going to carry by the time they get to high school, where now they're able to self-coach. They're able to fix the mistakes and the little corrections on their own with little cues here and there. Now they're going to be that much better. And that's the foundation that we start with. And that's where we build and grow. And believe me, there's high school kids. We're still teaching how to throw the right way. We're still teaching the foundation of how to hit a baseball and use your body to have power and to throw the baseball. Proper arm care. People don't know proper arm care. It's mind-blowing how many of these kids are in our program now, and they've never been taught how to do proper arm care. They don't understand the difference of building up your muscles at a gym and then going and doing light weights, because your muscles and your rotator cuff are so much smaller. And how do you build that up? And how much of your arm do you actually use when you throw? It's only once you're squared up to the catcher. And that's pretty much the only motion. You get it from your legs and it comes from the ground up. How do we throw correctly? And watching some of these kids now that are on our 18U team that throw 85 miles an hour, 86 miles an hour. I can tell you right now, I got 2 right now that are in our arm care program. They're doing velocity next. I will promise you by the time we hit mid-season, they'll be throwing at least 89, 88, 89, just because they've learned how to throw with their bodies. Now, what does that do for a team? What does that do to their confidence? And then the trust on top of that. Then as we continue to build them up into the high school program, you get a lot of college coaches, and I can tell you this, I tell parents this all the time, and they're mind blown because they never think of this, and I don't know how this is possible, but parents only view what's in front of them. Kids only view what's in front of them, and they have no clue what else is out there. So when you got a college kid who works at an Anytime Fitness and does personal training, well, that's a personal trainer. Guy sits at home on his couch and gets a certificate. You got great ones, but then you also have ones that they just got their certificate. They don't really know how to work with an athlete. They go off to college. Doesn't matter, D1 through NAIA. You get into that weight room, you struggle. You just lost. Most kids will lose 8 to 12 weeks because they can't do what they need to do in the weight room. And then you're getting up 5 a.m. You got weights in the morning. You go get a shower, go to breakfast. You got classes after that, then practice. You might have a night class. Then you have round tables. They're not used to this massive schedule that if you take it with pride, it really helps you in life. There's a lot of great coaches out there that we have that they use this, and, it makes them better people. Like, they tackle Monday mornings better than anyone else because they're up early. They're grabbing the bull by the horns and they're ready to go. And what our goals are is we build that foundation, and now we're building the foundation so that way when you step foot on college campuses, you're ready in the weight room. You don't lose a freshman year because you're ready to go. Now you're just getting stronger. You can attack that, and you know what's coming, so now you get a good night's sleep. You're doing your work. Grades matter. We tell our kids all the time, and they put on their GPA every time that they register with us. Grades matter. You might get more money for baseball with grades than you will from baseball. And parents are like, no, my kid's getting a full ride. Well, does he have a 4.0? Is he National Honor Society? Is he going to a school that he could get a ton of money for education and getting this and this? Any money is beneficial, and any chance to play. And then trying to teach the kids the right way of how do you pair up a school? How many coaches and organizations do that? They don't care. They just want you to go to college so they can use it as notoriety. Well, I don't want you to go away 8.5 hours away to a school when you've never been away from home and you're used to being close with your family, and it's not going to work out. And they don't have your area study because you just want to go play baseball there. 99% of the time, those kids quit. They leave. Then they find another school. Now they're behind the curve even more. And now they're playing with an extra year, 2 years of eligibility, or they enter the portal. You got to find the right fit. You have to find that. And with us, we're doing showcases coming up in the summertime for 15U and up. We're going to offer it to the community as well. We have some really good coaches that we're going to get into this with, guys that we work with, with Mike Bell, and, we have some JUCO coaches. We work with Baseball Cloud with that, giving them every opportunity under the sun to be seen at college campuses. Once they get to the next level, and we build our season schedule out where 13 and 14, you get a taste, kind of learning at 13, getting used to the bigger field. 14U, you do a little bit more. 15U, all right, now we're starting to play at some college campuses because I want to know if this is really what you want to do. And if it is, you're going to start getting seen now. Now we're going to these events. You're getting seen at showcases. Now you're playing 18U, and you're legit getting offers to play in front of probably 3,000 scouts this summer with just our 18U showcase team is my guess, both online and in person, and college coaches and whatnot, just all around the country with the events that we're playing in. So now we're giving you every opportunity. How much accountability do you have? Are you ready? We've given you the tools. Are you ready to take it and run with it, or is it not for you? That's kind of where we're at, and that's what we want to build. We want to build a foundation up. We want them to make their junior high team. We want them to make their freshman team, JV team, start varsity younger because now they're playing, getting more experience, and continue to build that. Now you're off to college. Now you're playing in college. And do, like a college roundup where next year, hopefully no COVID, we can go and travel and get kids interested and go to see some of these colleges, especially here. D2 PSAC's huge. West Virginia has some great D2 schools. We got D1 schools here. Just go out there and see it. Don't waste your money on a showcase. It's $900 and it's $350 just to have a profile. Go to this event because this is where you're going to get data. This is where you're going to get looks. Teaching the foundation of the parents, the coaches, and the kids at the younger level, so that way they're prepared now at the older level. and they have all that accountability to go out there and play. And we teach them how to use their social media correctly. College coaches are rescinding offers left and right because kids act like fools in who they follow, what they retweet, and nobody teaches them that. Why? They don't care. We care. We want you to be a better person. And guess what? If you hang it up after high school, you go to college, and you're going to be a member of society. You might be a father one day. You might be a coach one day. We want to make you a better person at the end of the day. And if you buy into our program, we're not doing anything crazy. We're not doing anything out of the norm. We're just doing it the right way that people lost sight of because of dollar signs.
Structure, discipline, and accountability. Three great things that, if you follow them, I mean, they'll be there. There's a good point. I will tell you what, I mean, I hired 2 young guys that had played for me. And, people were like, Tom, you could have brought in, this person, that, everything. I'm like, you know what? It's like you said. So they're in the developmental phase. Coach Gorse pitched for me in high school, played for me, and then pitched at Mount Union. Coach Simkovich played for me at Mars. Went to New Mexico, a lot like you said, New Mexico junior college. Got out there. It wasn't for. I mean, we had talked about you're going all the way across the country. You're not going to know anybody. Came back to Garrett Community College to some people that I know had a fantastic time there, and then went to Notre Dame College in Ohio to finish up. These guys are young. They know how I do things. They've played. They've been in detail-oriented programs. Now it's time for them. They want to take that extra step in coaching, and that's the good thing, is just getting back to fundamental baseball. Players, coaches, everybody around, good quality people. I know one thing, Timmy. I'm very excited, and like I said, you're mentioning the events that we get into. I mean, over the past couple of weeks, I mean, you've had people. I've been contacting you. Hey, these big time tournaments, that they're hitting me up on Twitter or everything else. We'd like you guys to come. We have 84 teams from across the country, just in your age, and we have 5 of the top 10 programs coming in. Those are the events that you want to be in. And you know what? We're going to a couple this year, next year, expand on that. And it's like you said, we're building, we may take some lumps this year and everything else, but you know what? With we have a quality 15U team that is loaded with talent, that's going to be moving up. I can't wait to sit there and work with those kids, next year. But I'm excited about our group this year. One of the things, even though we're 18U, one of my policies, and we talked about it, and you're in agreement, and Rawlings like it too, is so many people, you have these age groups in high school, and you play against that age group and that age group. When I was young, and what made me better is at 15 years old, I mean, I was playing Colt Legion, Fed ball, and you know what? I learned how to play, not at Colt, against the kids that I could already sit there and be better than. Going and trying to play against college players and ex-minor leaguers and stuff like that. It can be a little humiliating, but at the same time, like you said, if you have that mindset of getting better, you sit there and learn each time. And our roster for the 18 U's, I have a 15-year-old who's extremely talented. He's going to play in the 15U national tournament down in Fort Myers. Have some 16s and 17s. The thing that I like about it is you know what? You're a high school baseball player. Do you play 18-year-olds in high school? Yes, we
Yeah,
do. I said, so why aren't we playing that competition, you know, all around and play older kids that are more and are going to teach you more and everything. And developing that type of thing, I think is outstanding. And you know what? It teaches you how to be a teammate. It teaches the older kids to be leaders and bring these young kids up along. And you know, that's all in what we're trying to do. And you know, I
sure.
think people need to gain an understanding of that. I apologize for a thing. I had to move and plug my laptop back in. We were running low on juice.
You know, like kind of to touch on that, you know, which, and this is kind of crazy, and I think you've gotten to know me more than most people have in a relatively shorter period of time, and I'm very humble. I'm probably the most easily accessible person in the world. I don't talk about myself. I talk about my players. I talk about what we do with our players more than anything else, because I'd rather be in the gym working with them than doing anything else. And you know, what's crazy to me, and like I don't tell people about my background very often. Like if they want to know, they're going to find out enough. And there's a lot of people like they think it's crazy that we've gotten to this point now. This is our first year. We have yet to even step foot on a field with a single team yet. And you know, I've been asked, I'm on the board, I'm on the committee for selecting the national team, which is an absolute honor that Rawlings appreciates. And they do so much for us, and I do so much for them, and I love what they do, that it is a brotherhood. It's a big family. That's what we have here. We're just the Pittsburgh region of it, right? And, you know, I've helped other people with social media stuff and trying to get ideas out there with, you know, COVID and teams being stuck inside. And I've helped some other directors, and, you know, I bring a unique sense of business and coaching together. And, you know, I'm always learning. I'm trying to do some stuff. But the fact that we have 2 kids in our very first infancy year going to play for this national program is amazing to me. They named me the director of the national team as well because of the communication levels that I have, that I do with people, and, you know, how easily accessible I am, where I can get back to people relatively quickly. And it was amazing how fast it was. We had Monday, we picked the team in the afternoon. By Thursday night, everyone had paid. And by Monday morning, everyone had their hotels booked. It was with literally a week out. That's how fast it went. And you know, 2 of the people that are on it from our program, we do have a 15-year-old who is on the 18U team because he busts his butt and he drives a good distance to come play for us. So that's another testament to you as a coach, and what you bring to this organization. And, you know, it's crazy. Like, I'm always learning. We're always learning and trying to get better. You know, like I brought you blast motion that you've never used before, and I had everybody go in and learn, you know, and I know it gave you a wealth of knowledge that, you know, the boys are definitely going to use a little bit more than probably you and I will, because they're hands-on with them a little bit more. I'm very hands-on with it, but it's just an extra tool. Now we're getting better, right? You know, I had a long meeting with Matt Lau, who's one of the top hitting coaches, and, you know, I'm part of his community. I've learned a lot from him. Some guys love him, some guys hate him. You know, he's been around softball and baseball, and it is what it is with baseball anyway. You either love a guy or you hate him. But, you know, learning a lot from him and just having conversations, it's very similar. You have these conversations with people, and, you know, I've done a hitting program with Belmont, you know, and to me, I'm like, how the hell am I the one getting asked to help with this, you know? And like, it just blows my mind, because I keep my head down and I work hard. I put a ton of sweat equity into this and what I do as a coach. And, you know, I'm very easy to work with. I'm very different. And one thing I like most about this is, you know, I don't like showboating guys. I don't like arrogant guys. I like honest guys that just love the game and they want to be here because they want to be here. They want to make kids better, you know, and leave it into them. That's what it's all about. You know, and, you know, just a general question for you, you know, trying to get my name and our brand out there for people. You know, what organization out there, like, you bring stuff to me like, hey, what do you want to do for a tournament? Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to play? You know, I'm not going to dictate you and control what you do. This is your team. Let's just do it together, and let's go out there and do it. Like, oh, hey, let's go to this Motor City Classic. All right, cool. That works for me. Let's do it. Let's go. You know, it's just, it is what it is. I think for me, the biggest thing is, like, I have no problem spending money. Like, it was $13,000 to get all these blast motions in there, and, you know, going and paying for extra hotels and giving kids the opportunity to be out there. That holds value. That's, to me, it's like, yeah, sure, I can pocket that money like everyone else, but what am I doing to my kids? Nothing. Not giving them anything. But I think that's another area that kind of sets us apart is we trust our coaches. We give them a lot of access to give their teams and their players. You're with them more than me. What do you want to do? How can you get them there? I'm here to help you and support you any way I can. I'm going to float everywhere under the sun and come watch them play. I'm going to go coach with them. I'm going to work with you. And, hey, coach, I'm here. Yeah, I'm the director, but this is your team. Just put me on a station. I'm here to help. Or if you want me to run something one day, great, I'll do it. Like that's how I am. And I get back to people very quickly because I want people to know, like, hey, you're not just paying to play. You're here for a culture and a relationship. If you wouldn't mind, like, talk a little bit about that, because I don't know how much travel ball you've had or seen. I know you've seen enough because you've recruited kids, but what in your mind sets us apart a little bit, and how, like, what else can I do on that regard to help us get to that next level?
You know what? I think that you've done good. I think my background and contacts and everything like that, and being a nationwide recruiter and helping kids, I do tons of work, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, and Maryland, so people see and everything like that. And like I said, that 15-year-old, he's from down in central, West Virginia, and he travels up to play. We have some other kids that come from out of state to play for us too. And I think that you one of the best things that you do is what you said. You communicate, but you also don't dictate. You're like, okay, Tom, this is your strengths. Go have at it, and everything like that. But the whole thing is, it's just having the base fundamentals and beliefs that we both have, and in Rawlings and doing it. And building stuff that way, and then just letting people go to their strengths. There's stuff that I come to you on often too. Motor City thing. Hey, here's an opportunity for us, coach. You're like, go, man, go. And it's why are you asking me? Just call a guy, send me the information and all. But the whole thing is, it's about doing it and doing stuff the right way. Recruiting wise, like I said, you will have some tools and everything. And with my background, I actually am interested in talking to Rawlings and saying, hey, let me sit there and help all these kids that are across the nation with contacts and everything else. But I'm excited. I believe in you. I'm pretty good with people. And like I said, we've sat down, talked, grown, and what, 7 months now. And
yeah,
it's like your old hat with me. And that's, and that's a big thing. I'm at rest with you. I think you're at rest with me. And knowing that, we're all trying to put out there the best thing and build our teams to, be successful. But it's like you said, more important, we're going to be great teammates. We're going to be great young men. We're going to be respectful of the game. We're going to go about everything we do in a business professional manner. And I think that's what sets everything apart. You were asking me the question, seeing baseball, travel ball especially, it's become so watered down. And it's like you said, something doesn't work out for somebody, they go and start their own brand or their own organization, not knowing one thing about how to sit there and go about it, not having a background, not being looking into getting kids all the things and all the tools that they need to be successful. It's just like, well, yeah, I want Johnny and I want Matt and I want this, that, and go about it that way. It used to be, travel ball. when and I'm going to age myself. I'm an 82 high school graduate. I mean, you you know, you'd get nominated, you'd get something from down in Florida. That you come down and throw for us. I went to Boca Raton, Florida, and went and threw down for them down there. I got stuff from in Georgia and Texas. I mean, there was never anything up here. Like I said, American Legion was huge back in Western PA. Now it's not travel balls taking over. American Legion is more of a out by Philly and eastern part of the state thing. They say it still goes pretty well there. And, I know my boys in West Virginia are going to love this, but out in the eastern panhandle, the American Legion thing is still, very tight. Trip Tobin, great guy out there, runs a great organization. And I follow some of his stuff. And that they have a very good Legion team. They play in the state Legion things all the time, but it's so watered down because people aren't satisfied with, learning and everything. Everybody has to be that major star at that thing, and if they're not, it goes like that. I mean, I know you look around Western Pennsylvania, and there are so many travel organizations and all, but you gotta, and they will do some stuff. They always post up a thing. Here's so and so at the, taking swings and everything in there. I mean, it's like you said, when I give lessons, it's slowed down. I have my basic fundamental beliefs and all that. But number one, the first thing that I do in a lesson is the first word that they know is relax. Because if you're not relaxed at the plate, and you and I have done, to where we've both been there with people, and we kind of go off each other, which is really, really good. And we're teaching the same things, but some differences. This is what I see. So it's good. People get to see that what we're all going about getting you better, and we all have little intricacies. I mean, when I'm working with a hitter, relax. You gotta be relaxed at the plate. You can't be anxious. Your reactions work the best when you're relaxed and focused. I mean, I always say I keep it simple. I work with a couple of things: your head, your hands, your hips, and your feet. And usually, if you're breaking down in a swing, it's in one of those four areas. And that let's just fix this. Let's not go, boy, man, let's open your stance and do this and get you to do this and everything else. No, you know what? It's like, wow, okay, look at your foot opening up, or your front side. One of the biggest ones is opening up your front side and rotating there instead of properly rotating, of driving your front shoulder, keeping your front side in, coming through, and bringing those hands with the hips, and then your legs coming right behind it for your power. I mean, so many it's like you said. And I said, I see all these people on here, hey, Jim's hitting guru service, and I'm start looking at them, and I'm like, what are they doing? And they actually have people paying them to sit there and teach this. I used to think in high school, and it was funny, Coach Bednar and I talk about it a lot. And my former best friend who just passed away, Timmy Banner, who was a great high school coach, coached in college and everything. And I'm like, when we start conditioning and back into our routine with the high school, it's getting these kids out of what they've learned or people were trying to teach them in the summer. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, here you go. You were hitting 400 for us. Love your swing and everything. Well, coach thought that if I tinkered with it, I'm like, don't tinker. Keep your approach the same way. And you talk about launch angle. You know what? I don't. I got people out of this so easy. And one good thing for people to watch is go on MLB Network, where they have Harold Reynolds and they bring on people and these professionals talk about it. They have Pedro Martinez come on there one time. He's like, these guys with these launch angles. He said, do you see this plane right here above their waist and then on their hands? He said, no, he said, I'll take launch angle out of the game anytime, anytime you want right there. He said, because they can't hit it. And so many hitters who, I see they have great look. It looks tremendous. And they're like, why can't I hit the ball? I said, well, because your hands are dropping under it and your back shoulder's going here. And one of the other videos I show, I'm a Red Sox guy. I used to play in them, but Manny Ramirez, Mookie Betts. And if you watch their shoulders, we talk about bat angle and everything like that. And that bat angle is always on a plane with your hands and everything like that, no matter where they're swinging.
Yep.
And it's so funny. I'm like, here you go. Launch angle in reality is when contact with the ball and coming up through. So we can launch it. We can hit here, get that back swing, get that back spin, which we want to create on the ball because that's for carry, square it up. Now we're coming up here creating that launch angle. And, so many people just teach it wrong. I see so many kids with dropping this and doing it.
Yep.
It drives me crazy, Coach. Or pitching wise, it's like you said. How many pitchers do you see that are all? Why we have so many arm injuries is because pitching and power comes from your legs. I'll throw Nolan Ryan out there. People go, how could this guy, Mookie's running nuts now. He came in from the snow. I apologize. He may jump up here in a second.
That's fine.
On his zoomies. But, how was it possible for a 47-year-old guy to sit there, there he is, to sit there and throw 95 plus? And you know what? He was the guy to get what we're doing started. I mean, Tom House, guy that I have a ton of respect for, talk to him. We still get on Twitter and like each other's stuff and everything. I think he's one of the best pitching gurus. He's like, you know what? You want to have a long career and everything like that? Legs, hips, butt, core. That's what determines all of your power pitching, and us getting you to be able to sit there and rotate and go with your upper body and through that. Nolan Ryan was that first guy. Okay, I'm going to hit the weight. He'd get done. He'd go in and ice. He'd get on the bike and hit the weights that same day and everything like that. And just his thing. I shared with one of my clients who's a pitcher, Nolan Ryan's difference in his mechanics through the years. When he was that young 18-year-old coming up through the Mets organization, straight arm thrower. I mean, leg kick was his gather, coming to his gather position was maybe waist high. So he's not getting everything. And then all at once you see him with the Astros and you see this gather position coming up here to where he could, and then you bend that back leg, the Ryans, the Seavers. And, I'm showing these slowed down models of him coming up and touching his chin with his knee at that gather position. And that's like, bam, here and power through. And, you know, training and getting that flexibility to do that. The looseness in your body. It's like you said, you know, people try to teach that. No, we need the guys with the certification to sit there and teach that the right way, and then have them work through the pitching guys. You love to work with pitchers. I'm a pitching guy. I know my buddy Tyler, my young coach who was the pitcher at Mount Union. I'm like, yeah, we'll get you involved in everything, but they're going to be my baby right now. But you know, getting them. This is what we want, and this is how you get that way. Then we incorporate it through their the biomechanics of their mechanics and everything. And it's like you said. It was funny. I was talking with JT Thomas, who's Bethany's head baseball coach. And he's like, you know what, Tom? He said, I get a lot of people in here and, you know, body-wise, they're a little skinny, and they're 80 to 82, but they have command of their pitches. Well, what we do, it's like us. We develop them. In 2 years, now I have that 86 to 87 guy, still can throw that pitches, and, you know, now they're out winning games for me and everything. And being able to bring that in through, you lose some, you're gaining it through your younger ones and all that, but developing, that's how you develop good programs.
Sure.
That work and knowing your craft, knowing what you want to do, having a vision for it, getting the right people to do it, and then the right kids in there that want to sit there and be part of that and come up that way.
It is. And, you know, like just sticking with hitting and pitching, some of the biggest things, and they're the most common things, which is crazy, is people don't understand. A lot of people just don't understand because coaches aren't qualified to teach it, or they assume kids know because they've been at a higher level, and people will pay a guy that's gone pro because that's his status, and he can't work with younger kids because he doesn't focus on the intricacies, right? So like for hitting, I see more than anything else, the two biggest things I see with hitting are kids do not understand. The three things I should say is hips come before hands. They don't understand what that means. Keep your hands back. They don't understand what that means. And more so, there's another one I'm trying to remember. I'll remember the other one. So keep your hands back. Hips go first is another big one as well. And just trying to understand, like, okay, well, this is what we need to do. Get your weight forward is the last one. And they don't understand it. Like to them, they're way over their front side. You know, their hands back is all the way back here. They don't understand it's here, you know, and it's crazy because once I get them, their time to contact drops dramatically, you know, and it's super fast. And then they start pulling the ball. Their dads and their moms are like, well, now he's pulling the ball. We don't want him to pull the ball. That's okay. We just need to readjust his stance. That's all it is. There's nothing crazy. You don't have to do something else. And I see a lot of guys that teach feel of things, and then it creates three other issues. And then you're doing lessons forever. And I tell parents, I'm like, when you do lessons with me, I'm going to get you where you need to be. You're going to keep working. When you need extra help because you're falling into a slump or you're breaking patterns of what our foundation is, that's when you need to come back. You don't need to see me all the time. I don't want you to see me all the time. There's no need for it. And same thing with pitching. You know, kids don't know. A lot of guys will say hips first, hips first. Well, no, that's not true. That's what you see. You just don't understand it. Your back knee goes first and your hips tilt. And there's a difference between tilt and first. If you go first, where's your weight? It's forward. Do we throw a baseball leaning forward? No, because we're either throwing it right in the ground or it's going to slip, which they feel like it's slipping. It's just rolling off our fingers, and then we let it sail over the backstop. So, and people are like, oh, yeah, it has to click. So when you take the terms that kids have learned, whether they're 15, 16, or 9 or 10, and then you break it down for them to understand, no one's taught them this to understand it. They've just said it and assume that they understood it. And that's been the biggest issue that I've noticed in this area is it just seems to be par for the course. This is what they do. But then once they get it, and then you still have to physically move their body so they start to see it. And I mean, I'm the type of guy where I've had a miniature rainbow colored kickball that I put underneath my hitter's front arm just so they can see where it goes. Because now they're getting visual feedback. And when it goes the right way, like they're laughing at me like, this is a kid's toy. I'm like, yeah, you think this is funny. Or, hey, you don't bend your back knee, so I'm going to roll you baseballs in the cage and you have to get 5 of them in the air. Well, this is dumb. What is this doing? Hey, guess what? That low fastball, what'd you do? Oh, I just hit it 374. Yeah, you did. Because you went down and got it and you used your legs to go drive the baseball, right? Okay, now let's play the numbers game. 1, 2, 3, and 4 straight up. I want you to start placing the ball in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, off the tee. Now I'm going to do this with throwing to you, and I want you to place it. Well, what's this really doing? What's the long game? Oh, I can visualize the field. I'm seeing what they're giving me. Now I can place the baseball. Yep, that's exactly right. Launch angle, 13 degrees to hit it over shortstop's head. That's all you need. You hit that 13 degrees. By the time it hits the outfield, it's now 17, 18. That ball's going to the wall. Guess what? You just got a double, maybe a triple. Sure as hell got yourself some RBIs too. Pitching. Why do we lean back? Why do we lean forward? Why do we cross our knee over and now our hips are facing almost to the third base dugout and we're missing left and right all the time? Why do you think that's the case? Well, our hip alignment's going this way. Oh, I never thought of that. All right, let's keep our balance on our core. Like Ryan does a great job. He uses the wrinkles in his shirt when he tucks it in. It's like, so now I'm coming this way. All my weight is back. Now I'm going to push and straighten my leg. I'm going to rip my arm down, and now I'm squared up. So what do we need to know? The stronger my rotator cuff is, the harder I can throw. The stronger my legs and my core are, the harder I can throw. And if I throw with my body and not my arm, where I see kids, they're back here and their shoulders still facing the catcher, and they're trying to bring it as much as possible. You lose command, you lose control. That's when you have arm issues. And I ask kids all the time, does your arm hurt up here or does it hurt back here? No, it hurts up here. It's never hurt back here. So you've never thrown a baseball correctly in your life. And they just look at me dumbfounded. And then we explain it to them. Then we move their position, their bodies. And then, bam, we had an 18U kid who's doing arm care now. And we're starting to teach him how to do it. He throws hard as it is. Now he gets it. It's great when it clicks because then they're like, oh, my God, that makes sense. Why did I never know this before? That's okay. You've just never been taught this type of style before. That's why I'm here. And that's why I'm here. You know, I'm at strength and conditioning, and I'm like, hey, guys, you're doing squats. Why in God's name are you not getting back? You got to get deep in your squats or else you're not working your legs at all. You're just putting pressure on your knees. Now you're hurting yourself. Oh, well, no one ever explained that to me. Yeah, because in your program, you just go out there and do whatever the program says that some coach printed offline that thinks works but doesn't know what to do with the proper way to do it. You know, and it takes too long to teach you how to do it the right way. And you work out at home or you work out here. You've never worked with an actual trainer that teaches you how to use your body. Why don't you use body weights? Why aren't you doing speed and agility? We did 8 plates on sled pushes, getting our knees up. And kids are like, God, I can't walk anymore. They walked into the arm care clinic like, man, I can't walk. I said, because it's the first time you've actually used your legs, your glutes, your hip flexors, everything under the sun. That's what you need to play this game of baseball in any position. They're like, even for shortstop, yeah, what do you think you do when you field a ground ball? You're getting down in that squat position the right way, get your glove out, field it, turn your hip as you're fielding it, bam, now you're pushing off, and now you know how to throw correctly. Why do you think Major League ball players can throw at 95 miles an hour across the diamond? Because they know how to do it the right way and they've been taught the right way. So if I get you to this point at 16, now you're a senior in high school and you've gotten 4 offers you're about to sign. Do you think you'd have those offers if you didn't know this information? Do you think you'd hurt your arm? Yeah, probably. Now they're starting to understand it. So we got to teach them how to buy into the system to know it the right way. These kids are baffled. I mean, coaching and teaching go hand in hand no matter how you look at it. And if you're not a teacher, you can't be a coach. Because if you don't teach the game, you're just out there giving signs. You're just there for the money. You're just there for the uniform, all the tournaments, whatnot. You got to teach these kids. And then if you're not getting excited when they get it, it's clicking, and then you're seeing them put it to play and in action, then you're not in it for the right reasons. And I surround myself with great guys where if it's not my cup of tea, I sure as hell ain't touching it because that's not what I do. That's your thing. Go run wild with it. I'm going to stay. I'm going to learn. I'm going to bring other guys in so they learn and we're using the same terminology. Let's make everyone more knowledgeable, even on the coaching staff. And your coaching staff is your team. So if you can build a good quality team to put on the field, sure as hell better be able to put a good quality team as a coaching staff to be able to put those teams on the field.
Exactly. And it's like you said, I mean, us knowing limitations. Number one, I'll go out there and work with you pitching wise, mechanics, grips, the mental aspect, going over game plans, everything like that. I know what you should be doing performance-wise, strength and conditioning-wise. I'm not the guy to teach that. You know what? Hey, God bless Justin and everything. You know what? I have guys that I use in my recruiting thing. Okay, here, he's in your area. I'm going to hook you up with him for, position-wise in football, and they're going to put you on plans and work with you. Hitting wise, same thing. I know what you can do to become bigger and stronger and everything like that. Now, I'm not going to teach you that. I know what you should do. I'm going to let the expert do that. But I sure as heck can help you with the mechanics and all that of your swing. Well, you know what, Tim? This has been great, man. And I'm going to tell you what, it's going take a while to convert because me and you got a little Gabby as we can. But that's the thing. I think people can see it. Here's two passionate people about the game and about helping kids and about putting out a product that's going to develop your kids to sit there and get to that next level. But you have to be that kid, like you said. I mean, if you're going to be a star or a prima and you don't want, you know what, my skills are good enough, you're pretty much not the kid for us and everything like that. If you want to work, develop, learn the ins and outs of the game, inside the game, and see yourself progress through the years and get better to go to that next level, then you're what we're looking for, and you're what we're someone we want to sit there and play for us. It's going to take a while to convert, but I will get it up, and I actually have another one at 3:00 with Coach Nesselrod, that West Virginia Tech's head baseball coach. But I'm sure that people will get a lot of good information out of this. And you know what? You share, you'll see it when it comes up. Share it with the Rawlings people. I'm sure that they'll be interested in it. And anything, I'm sure we'll be talking and all that throughout the weekend and everything like that. But great for everybody to meet you and hear you talk about your program, Rawlings Tigers Pittsburgh, and what you want to do, the people you're bringing in coaching wise, player wise, family wise, and everything like that. And you got my applaud, big guy.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I heard Harper there. Is she going to get you going?
She is. I got to hop in the shower and eat some lunch, and my buddy will be here to help me take this thing down before it caves in on itself. Hopefully, I'm looking at it and it's not really snowing bad, but if I don't kill myself out on a ladder in the middle of the snow right now, taking this canopy down, yeah, and then it'll be time to play and hang out with her and watch some Christmas movies. So she's nuts. She got her first tooth finally, but she's nuts, to say the least.
There you go. You got a lot on your plate, and I'll let you go. Thanks so much, big guy. I'll be talking to you.
You too, Coach. Looking forward to it.
All righty.